Hello, what's up, everybody? Hi, how you doing? I miss Tell It Like It Is. Hi. It's almost the weekend. Are y'all excited? I am. Okay, today I'm gonna talk about what does it really mean to love oneself. Okay, I've asked many people, do you love yourself? And I've heard many people say, oh, of course I love myself. But when I really look at a lot of people, I see that a lot of people really don't love themselves, okay? Because I asked this lady one day, I said, do you love yourself? And she was like, what kind of question is that? Of course I love myself. And I looked at her and I said, no, you don't. And she said, of course I love myself. I said, no, you don't. And she said, excuse me, you don't tell me. I said, I'm telling you, you don't love yourself the way you think you love yourself. And I told her that because she was puffing on a cigarette. And I told her, I said, you don't love yourself, because if you really loved yourself, you wouldn't be smoking that cancer stick. And when I said that, y'all, she got very heated with me. And she was like, excuse me, you don't judge me. If I want to smoke, that is my business. I can smoke and I love myself. I said, no. If you love yourself, you won't defile your temple. I said, your body is your temple. And by putting nicotine, tobacco into your body, you are polluting your temple. But she didn't like it, y'all. And I didn't really care, because I told her the truth. And most people don't like to hear the truth. But I'm going to tell it like it is. I'm going to tell you the truth. To love oneself is to love all of you. And it's to treat your body, your mind, your spirit, your soul, and your health, and your mental health like a temple. Like a church. Like a mosque. Or any place of worship. Okay, if you were to go into a church, okay, and you were smoking in a church, and technically a church is known to be a place of worship, okay? It's supposed to be clean, but we all know that all churches aren't clean. But my point is, it is a place of worship, okay? So when you go in there, it's supposed to be clean. Okay, that means nothing defiled is supposed to go on in the church or in a mosque or in a temple or whatever place of worship. Okay, so like I told her, I said, you're supposed to treat your body like it's a place of worship. And she didn't understand that. She was like, so I'm supposed to worship myself? I said, no. But you're supposed to respect yourself and your temple, because this temple houses your spirit and your soul. And your spirit and your soul, they're divine, okay? And that's the higher spiritual side of you, okay? So you're supposed to treat it divine. And treating it divine is not defiling it. So she was like, I'm judgmental. And really, I wasn't being judgmental. I was just being truthful. And so she was like, well, I am trying to be perfect because, I live celibate. I've been living celibate now for 2 years. So she was like, well, you're just trying to be holier than thou. And I was like, no, because I'm not holier than thou. I will never be holier than thou. I said, but I'm just working on myself. I said, I understand that my body is a temple and I can't defile it. And that means that I'm not married. So I can't just have any man just going up inside of me. Okay, because that's defiling my temple. That means that whatever disease he has or whatever spirit he has or whoever he slept with, if I sleep with him, then I'm going to have everything that he has in him in me. My spirit is going to create these soul ties. And I'm going to be able to emotionally feel everything that he feels and everything that everybody else he slept with feel. Okay? And so that's not being holier than thou. Like I told her, I said, I'm not being holier than thou. I'm just working on myself. I said, I actually feel better being celibate. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I never thought that I could be celibate. In my past, like, baby, I was in love with sex, okay? Not loved it, but was in love with it, in love with the pleasure. And I just had to wake up one day and realize, you know what? This is not just, laying down with someone is not just a physical act. It's a spiritual thing. You actually create all these soul ties. And then sometimes, I remember when I slept with people, I would feel sometimes like so many thoughts just going into my mind. Like I was picking up on so many emotions, and I realized that I was just like a medium for everybody's emotions that I slept with. I mean, I was just like this spiritual door that was inhabiting all these different emotions, and I just couldn't understand it. I'm like, wait a minute. One minute I'm happy, the next minute I'm feeling down, the next minute I'm pissed off, and I was like, what's going on with me? I feel so freaking confused. Am I fucking bipolar? And no, y'all, it was just the fact that I was not just sleeping with someone, but sleeping with the wrong someone very evil. And so I just had all these soul ties, just like a baby that has umbilical cords or umbilical cord to the mother. That baby feels everything. Well, the same thing. The more you sleep with people, the more umbilical cords you have. And all these umbilical cords are everywhere. And all this energy is traveling through these umbilical cords. And you're just a channel. You're just a channel for all these emotions, all these different spirits, all this bad energy. Now, y'all, since I've been celibate, I'm not going to lie to you. I feel freaking good. I do. I feel so good. And my mind isn't in chaos, because let me tell you something. When you are an empath, a lot of times, and you can really pick up on a lot of people's energy, and I'm very good at that. Like, even without sleeping with people, I could just walk in a room and I could feel people's energies. A lot of us can. So it's like, when it comes to your temple, when it comes to your body, when it comes to your mind, when it comes to your spirit, when it comes to your soul, none of us is never going to be perfect. It's a lifetime work, but we work on ourselves, so that we could become like whole, like we could become you know, one within ourselves, within our mind, body, spirit, soul, you know. And it feels good because that's freedom. When you can connect your mind, body, spirit, and soul, and there's nothing else channeling into your spirit, there's nothing else interfering with your emotions, you begin to feel whole. Mentally, psychologically, spiritually whole. So I told this lady, I said, when you learn to put down your cancer stick and you realize that this body, this house of clay, is housing your spirit and your soul, which is divine, then that will be when you really and truly love yourself. Like when I came to the point of not having sex and realizing that my body is a temple and that I cannot share my body with anybody, that my body is sacred. When I began to realize that, y'all, and it was like this spiritual awakening, y'all. It wasn't just like this mindset. It was spiritual. My eyes became open when I realized that in order for me to love myself, I have to treat myself, my body, like a temple. I cannot allow my body to be abused. And by indulging in my animalistic desires just for the sake of pleasure, that was putting my desires before my spiritual self, my spirit, my soul man. Instead of letting my soul man, my divine higher self, cause my body to come under submission. I have learned, y'all, and I never thought I was going to learn this because, like I said, I remember having this conversation with a family member that was like celibate for years. And this person was very, very, it still is very spiritual. And I remember, y'all, I was just having sex like crazy, like swinging off the chandeliers. I was just a very sexual person. And I remember looking at this person in my family and I was like, how do you live without sex? Like I really felt like, y'all, that if I had stopped having sex, like literally, like I would have a panic attack and just freaking die. Like I really felt that I needed it. And I remember this person in my family, she said, anything that you weren't born with, you could live without. And I said, that's easy for you to say because you're a real spiritual person. You're really, you're holy and you live really, really holy. So, and you live what you preach. So that's easy for you. And she was like, look, I have the same hormones, the same desires as anybody else. But God controls you if you want to be controlled. God will help you with your nature if you really want to be helped. But if you don't, then God ain't gonna help you with nothing. And I remember, y'all, I had a serious issue with lust. But back then I was like, okay, this lady, she said, do you really want to give up the spirit of lust? Do you really want to give it up? And I said, yeah. And she told me to get down on my knees and ask the Creator to take the spirit of lust from me. Well, y'all, when I got down on my knees and I asked God to take the spirit of lust from me, and because I can spiritually hear, the Spirit of God said, get up. Get up. You don't mean it. You don't mean it. And it was the way I heard the Creator speak to me. It was so strong. It was so with authority. It really freaked me out. It scared me. Because, my mouth said I wanted to give up the spirit of lust, but my heart was far from it. And I wasn't fooling God. I wasn't fooling the Creator. So I got up, y'all. I got up. And what's the moral of this story? Is this lady, she told me she couldn't give up cigarettes. That she had been on cigarettes for too long. And I told her what my godmama told me. Yeah, I slipped, y'all. My godmama told me, my family, she said to me I could give up anything that I really wanted to give up. God would help me if I really meant it from the heart. I told her the same thing. I said, if you really, really want to give up cigarette, the spirit of nicotine, because that's a spirit, okay? If you really want to give it up, it's not just a chemical, y'all. It's a spirit, okay? I said, and you ask the Creator to help you, then the Creator will take it away from you. The Creator will deliver you from that tobacco, nicotine, craving, demonic spirit that comes along with the chemical, okay, that's in the cigarettes. I said, no such thing as you can't do it. Because like I told her, I said, just like I've been living celibate, I thought I couldn't do it. But I got to a point where I got tired, y'all. I got tired of laying down with someone just for pleasure. My spiritual eyes was becoming open, and I realized, what am I doing? Like, I'm just a squirrel getting a nut, and that's it. There's no love here. There's no nothing there. And then when I'm getting up, I'm having all these soul ties. I'm feeling this person's emotions. I'm mentally imbalanced, spiritually imbalanced. I'm just, feeling all this energy. I'm feeling this person like it's me when it's not me. And I just got to the point I got tired, y'all. I got tired. I'm like, this just sex without love is tiresome. It got to the point where it just felt like I was just doing a physical exercise. And it got to the point where I really just couldn't get pleasure anymore. And I guess I was getting to the end of myself. And when I got tired and I said, you know what? I said, I don't want to be like this. God, I don't want to be like this. When I lay down with someone, I want to lay down with my husband. The one that you got for me. I want my true soulmate. I don't want to just have this senseless, animalistic act of lust. And I feel physically relieved, but then I feel spiritually in bondage. I feel a weight on me. I feel all these different spirits connected to me, all this negative energy, all these emotions that are not even mine. I just got tired of it. And so people, what's the moral of this story? The moral of this story, I'm on the internet real quick. The moral of this story is, when you get tired, it doesn't matter how much you like something, how much you crave something, how much you indulge in something. When your eyes become open and you get tired and you really want to give something up, then guess what? The Creator will help you give it up. And it won't be as hard because the Creator will help you. And you will mean it from your soul, from your heart. So the Creator will give you strength. It won't be easy, but it won't be impossible. And so, like, it was not impossible for me to be celibate. It was just a mind thing. It was just an illusion. That's just like anything else. That's an addiction, y'all. Sex can be an addiction, okay? People can be addicted to having sex because they're addicted to the pleasure. There are many different addictions. Food addictions, drug addictions, shopping addictions, alcohol addictions, splurging, just spending money just because you got it to spend. Well, I don't have the money like that to spend, but I'm just saying, for people who have it, some people just have money and just get stuff just to be getting it because it's an addiction. Okay, smoking. A lot of people have weed addictions. Okay, anything you want to get rid of, it's not impossible if you really want to get rid of it from the heart. And so, like, true love, really loving yourself, is respecting your body. Because your body houses your spirit and your soul, which is your higher divine self, okay? And so you have to respect your temple. And nobody's going to be perfect. I'm far from perfect, y'all. I'm working on myself every day. But one thing, I am so glad to know that I am celibate. And I didn't die, like, you know how I've known some people to quit cigarettes and they literally go through withdrawals. Well, I literally, like, when I stopped having sex, I literally went through withdrawals. I did. I went through anger. I went through sweating. I couldn't go to sleep. I mean, I really went through some serious withdrawals. But now I'm good. I'm just still like this. I hope you like my channels. Please subscribe, okay? Yes, I am a YouTuber, okay? And I have a multi-topic channel, okay? And just like anything, I'm feeling my way through this YouTube thing, okay? So I would really appreciate your support out there, okay? Anyway, Tulu, I'm out.